I'm in the shed today. You might ask why, but the reason being is that at the moment I'm renovating my home, and I'm working out of the kitchen. I have no allocated space for my photography. We're renovating the house, and I'm yet to get an office sorted out, so that'll hopefully come to fruition in the next 6 months, I hope. Today what I want to do is do like a bit of a Q&A. I've been wanting to do some Q&A stuff for a while. I get asked quite a few questions on the channel, and I try my best to answer them via text and stuff like that, but it's always nice to actually sit down and talk about stuff rather than writing it. I find it can be a bit more comprehensive. So today we're in the shed, like I said, and we're going to talk about or answer some questions. So if you hear noises and motors starting up, it's probably because I've got a water pump in here. That, you know, we're in the country, so we don't have town supply water, so every time somebody turns a tap on inside, the pump will go and stuff like that. So I apologise for any noises you might hear. The odd truck might go past picking up cattle from the district or whatever it might be, so apologise for any external noises. First question is from Tony Makinen, or Tony Makinen rather. Good stuff as always. Any plans for a new book? Real book, he says. Definitely there'll be more books in the future. I've been very slack with a couple of projects I've been working on. There's the water pump. I've been a bit slack with a few projects that I've been working on. I had a project which was loosely titled Looking for New Zealand, which was a colour film photography project which I've started, and that's got a decent amount of work in it, but not enough yet to do a book. I've got another book pretty much ready to go, in the sense that I've got the images there and I've started working out with the layout of it. So that book will be coming up. That book will be titled Incidents of Isolation. It's on my website if you want to go and view a few of the images from that. A link to my website below, so there's a link for that, and some of the images that I'm going to be putting in that book. And going forward, you know, I have been thinking about an ebook, but obviously people don't find the same sense of gratification from looking from a digital file. And I've been trying to think of ways that I can, you know, be creative with the whole digital book thing, and maybe make it interactive, you know. Yeah, it's difficult, because particularly for the kind of photography that I do, people seem to want to see that in a physical format rather than an ebook. So, you know, definitely there's going to be something coming out, but when that will be, I'm not too sure. Incidents of Isolation will probably be the next project that I'll publish, maybe towards the end of the year, maybe, or early next year. I'm not too sure yet. But yeah, that's the plans at the moment. Definitely, you know, it's great when you can publish your work. So there'll definitely be another book, but not sure if that's going to be within the very near future or not. This is from Peter Shafiq. Peter says, I was wondering if you think it would fit your channel to talk about the film versus digital photography thing, and not from a perspective that one is superior to the other. I shoot both and never claim that film is more superior, or all of this kind of nonsense. To me, it's not special. It's not a special feeling, nor that it slows me down and all of that sort of stuff. Film photography is simply different, and I agree. I like the process, or rather liked the process in the past tense, but I am slowly falling out of love with the medium for a few reasons. And the first one is cost. Cost associated with shooting film keeps climbing, from the cost of buying the camera to the film stock just becoming ridiculous. And that's not all. The cost associated to processing one roll of film is becoming really annoying. Also, because of where I live, I have to ship out my rolls, and same the coloured ones, and even the black and white ones, as I want them printed, which takes a long time, and this only adds to the cost. Inconvenience, all of the above to the reality that shooting film is simply not convenient. And no, I'm not one of those who liked the 1 hour finish, and I presume he's referring to the 1 hour finishing centres that used to be around in bulk. But to wait 6 to 8 weeks to get back one roll of film is simply not realistic. It takes away from the whole experience. And then the third point is reality. My real challenge with the whole thing is the reality that no camera manufacturer seems to be remotely interested in making new film cameras. Leica is the only one that still produces a film camera, but I just can't justify putting down all that money for just a camera, no matter how good it is. That also ties to the reality that unless people are knowledgeable enough to service repair film cameras, the same issue with me. I have to ship it out, which is costly, and then the wait for weeks on end. I can't help but think that the question is of time, and the photography will inevitably die, which surely would be a shame. It would be great if you dedicated an episode to talk about this. It's a big question. There's a lot of questions there, a lot of points. I think, to summarise the 3 points that you're talking about, I think because to me what I'm getting from your question is that, it's just a big inconvenience, and, the time it takes and all sorts of stuff. Firstly, if you're going to shoot film, I think you need to be developing your own film, and I'm not sure if you are or not. You're alluding to the fact that you possibly are developing your black and white images, your black and white film. But, to me, actually developing your own stuff is very important, and it completes the cycle to a point. I shot my first roll of film last week for the first time in over a year and a half, and one of the reasons I haven't been shooting film was because it takes time, it's dragged out process, and I haven't got time to do all that stuff. I'm so glad I shot that roll last week, and it just reminded me how cool it was. And not so much just the images, but just the whole process, the time it takes, the developing the film here in the shed and having a cup of tea while I was doing it. Very relaxing. Scanning my images, going through them slowly, scanning them one by one. The whole thing was just a joy to do. And what I'm getting from what you talk, you're asking, you're talking about the inconvenience of it. And yes, it is an inconvenience, and I think that almost is the point. You've got to work a bit harder. And I've always found, for me personally, sending my film off, getting it developed by a lab, really was pretty boring. It didn't feel the same. I stayed away. I stayed away from shooting colour for a while because of that very reason. But then decided to start developing my own colour film, and found that developing colour was even easier than black and white. And once you get over the hurdle of having to learn it, which took about an hour or two watching some videos on YouTube, but it's all part of it. Do I think that film photography will survive? Again, I don't know if I really care, in the sense that if it doesn't for a reason. And from a personal perspective, if I stop shooting film one day, it's probably because I'm enjoying another type of photography. I don't even know what the current state of film photography is, because it's been that long since I've watched it on YouTube or followed these young guys that are shooting film on YouTube, and so I guess it's it's still valid. I know that Kodak have just I think brought out Kodak Gold on 120 film now, so that tells me that there's a market out there for it, and must be still pretty strong. I think they're a lot more expensive, and from a cost point of view, there's definitely more expensive hobbies out there. I know people that spend thousands upon thousands, or maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars on their hobbies. And when I look at photography and I put it in perspective, you can partake in this hobby quite cheaply if you want to be frugal. But I think film photography will survive. I think there'll be people out there that will adapt the whole thing to the modern age. I think I don't know, the whole camera thing, maybe these things. I think somebody will be building new cameras one day. I don't know. I'd like to think so. Like I say, if there's a market there for it and people are willing to pay money for it, I think there'll be somebody out there making the stuff, and whatever happens will happen, I guess. But that's my spin on it. Next question is, where are we? Okay, here we go. Rolf O. Welcome back, Paul. What is this for a motorbike that you have? Cheers from Dresden, Germany. I think Ralph's referring to a motorbike that I had in one of my videos previously, a few videos back. And it's, I'll have a look. I'm just going to have a look. It's, I think it's an AG 180 or 120. Yeah, it's a Yamaha. Anyway, Yamaha AG 120, I think, or what? Do they have a 180? I've forgotten, but a little farm bike, and the reason I got the farm bike was because I wanted to, go riding with my wife. She rides horses, and we could go and, go on the farm next door and stuff like that, and also really handy where I live here because we're on backcountry roads, so I can go toddling around the countryside. I don't know if you've ever had the experience of driving in a car when you see a picture or an image, and you've got to stop and try and park up somewhere. It's really frustrating. So having a motorbike's a lot easier. You can just pretty much throw it anywhere, park up and stop anywhere on the road, and then get your camera out, take a picture, and move on. So little Yamaha AG. I think is it a 120 or 180? I can't remember, but it's it's pretty handy. Next question is from David Kelso. Hi David, thanks for your question. David sent me an email a few weeks back, or a week or so back, and David says, after watching you do a review a couple of years ago on the Olympus OM2N, I went out and I bought one. Since then I've put a roll of film through it once a week. Good on you, mate, that's a good effort. I live in Barossa in South Australia, so lots of nice countryside shots. However, a bit later in the year, I'm going to live in New York City for a few weeks with my wife, who is a scientist at St. Columbia Uni. I wanted to make the most of the trip. I'll have whole days to myself and hope to take a roll every day while I'm there. But not sure if you can help, but I'm trying to get to grips with the difference between rural and urban landscapes and taking photos and the film that I should be using. Maybe even the transportation of film through airports. Any other considerations? Developing, ? Even using an SLR for street photography and so on. Hope the above might be worthy of touching in a YouTube or a quick reply. Thank you for all the help and inspiration your YouTube channel has given me, David. Thanks, David. I think it's important and again, personally, without getting into the technical aspects of the whole thing, but more just, how I approach photography. And I tend to approach photography the same way in whatever I'm doing. I think a lot of people see me as a landscape photographer. I don't see myself as a landscape photographer. I just see myself as a guy that lives in the country, and that's my everyday life, I guess. That's my everyday world. The best piece of advice I can give you is just to approach the photography, whether it be, whether you're shooting a landscape or whether you're in an urban setting, try to approach it in the same way. And as an example, the way I approach my photography is, I'll just go for a walk, and I'll just go and just see if I can see something. I'll let the images come to me. I think a lot of people make the mistake of reading up on photography and trying to get inspiration from other people's photography and trying to interpret it then in their own way, so they'll try and get inspiration from somebody else, then try and make similar kinds of pictures, I guess. And I think that sometimes can be a big mistake. It certainly doesn't work for me. My best photography is when I'm just out relaxing and the images are coming to me. And I think, I think of the times that I've been in an urban setting. For instance, I love going to Melbourne, and I really enjoy shooting there because I just feel relaxed when I'm in Melbourne, and often find early mornings a good time to go out and shoot in the city there. 5 a.m, 5:30 a.m, get up and just go for a walk, grab a coffee from a street stall or something. And just people seem to be busy at that time of the day. They, usually the people that are up at that time in the morning are the working people, and they're going somewhere. They're fresh-minded, so they're not too worried about people out doing stuff like taking pictures. And I find, if you get yourself in a really nice space where you're relaxed, the light is usually good in the morning. It's interesting. Sun's coming up. Just feel relaxed about what you're doing and start to see stuff. The thing I love about shooting in cities is that, cities are easy to get around. I mean, there's usually, especially, I guess, for New York, you've got the subway there, so you've got a fantastic public transport system, and which makes for really good photography in the sense you can hop on a train somewhere and just lose yourself in the city somewhere. Just don't do what I did when I was in Spain a few years ago and got lost on the subway there, and I ended up in some back part of the city with some undesirable people, and I felt a little bit intimidated, and I managed to find my way home. But you've got to be a bit careful in some of those places. But definitely, using the public transport system and getting around is a lot easier than in the country sometimes, and you can actually get to see a big part of a city that way. So that's always that's a key thing. But essentially, I think just keeping an open mind and not just seeing things as you see them. Look for the same things. I always look for the same things whether I'm shooting landscapes or whether I'm shooting in a city, or if you want to I don't call it street photography if you want. I don't like that term, but you just see things, see colours and see shapes. Soak up the light, the mood, get in a relaxing space, and I think feeling part of, feeling comfortable with where you are and what you're shooting is important. And from a technical aspect, I'm not too sure, but that would be how I would approach it. Just those key things: relax, soak it up, and enjoy yourself. And you'll find that if you can get into that space, I'm sure you'll take some great pictures. So good luck, and maybe get in touch when you get back and send some pictures through. We can maybe share them on the channel. Might be cool. I don't know. Good luck with the photography over there, and lucky you. That's it for this episode. Hope you've enjoyed the views from the shed today. Like I said before, if you have a question that you feel would contribute to the production of some of my videos, I'd appreciate you could send those through. Whether you want to leave them in a comment below, or make a more formal approach by going to my website via my contact page and sending me an email or something of a question. Try and be a bit original with what you're, what you want to talk about. The usual stuff of, what is my favourite camera, or what's my favourite film has been covered to death by everybody else out there. So be good to talk about things that are on the peripherals, I guess, of photography, and things that we can talk about while I'm shooting. Something I'd like to do in the future. So if you want to do that, like I say, leave a comment below, or go check out my website. I'll put a link below for the website there, and go to the contact page and flick me an email through my website, and I'll do my best to answer them. I'm not going to answer every question or touch every topic, but if I can find something that I think is valid that we can use on the channel, I'll do so. That's it for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it today. I've enjoyed coming from the shed here. Hopefully I'll get that office sorted out inside, and we'll have a space to do photography from before the end of the year. If you'd like to support my channel, there's a couple of ways you can do that. You can buy one of my 2 books that are available. I have an ebook available which is titled MScapes, which is a book about my digital Leica photography. I also have a physical book titled Scenes from the Black Sand that's available from the website. I'll put a link up here for both of those books to take to the shop. Scenes from the Black Sand is available for 30 New Zealand dollars. Free shipping is included with that, and the MScapes ebook is available for $10, which is obviously there's no shipping on that, so it's just $10. Also, if you could please like this video, I'd appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up button down there. Subscribe to my channel, and click the bell, which will let you receive notifications every time I put new content out. Those are also 2 ways you can help my channel out. Go and check out my Instagram feed if you want to. If you want to follow my work on a more regular basis, day to day, from a pure photography sense, Instagram is the best way to do that. I'll put a link below for my Instagram feed. Go and check that out. I appreciate it. That's it for this episode. I will see you again soon. Please take care. Haere rā from New Zealand. Goodbye.